top 25 current NBA players. My name is Josh or Envyerz. Here's how I made this top 25 list so you guys don't complain on why this player is too low or why this player is too high. Number one, I looked at all 25 player stats and compared them with each other. But stats aren't everything. Number two, does this player have an all-around game? Does he play offense? Does he play defense? Can he create his own shot? Does he not have to stand in the corner just for his teammates to pass him the ball and shoot a three, etc.? And lastly, number three, what impact does this player have for his team? If you take off this player, is his team still a championship or playoff contender? Or it's at the bottom of the league getting the number 1 overall draft pick? So hopefully now you guys won't complain nearly as much as you probably would. But if you do, just remember, Charles Barkley had Kyrie Irving at number 25 on his list, and Kenny Smith thinks DeAndre Jordan is a better player than Chris Paul. Think about that. So, I'm just saying, ESPN, TNT, NBA, whatever, if you need a graphic artist or expert analysis to replace, hit my line, at Envyerz, on Twitter. So, let's get started first with number 25, and that is the big man, LaMarcus Aldridge. Last season with the San Antonio Spurs, he averaged 18 points per game and 8.5 rebounds, and this year he's on pace with that same exact record, 31 games in. The Spurs currently sit second in the West. Without LaMarcus, there'd be a huge hole at that power forward position, especially in the rebounding category as well, considering the Spurs aren't relatively a good rebounding team this year. At number 24, Marc Gasol. Last year, he averaged 16.6 points per game and 7 rebounds. This year, 34 games in so far, he's averaging 19.5, but he's having a career year. Highest points per game, is almost on pace with 2 blocks per game if he keeps at it. He's the heart of the Grizzlies right now, and they're definitely going to need him come playoff time. At number 23, Gordon Hayward. Last year, he averaged 19.7 points per game, 5 rebounds, and 3.7 assists. This year, he's averaging around the same number in 28 games so far. A very versatile swingman that doesn't get enough credit with the Utah Jazz. Hopefully, they do something big in the playoffs this year. At number 22, Carmelo Anthony, who averaged 21.8 points per game last year, 7.7 rebounds, 4.2 assists as well. This year, he's on pace 33 games in with the same exact amount of points, a little bit under rebounds and assists as well, but that's just because he has a better team, probably one of the best teams he's had in New York his time here. Although some people may call him overrated, I still see him as a top 25 player in the league. At number 21, Kemba Walker. Last year, he averaged 20.9 points per game, 4.4 rebounds and 5.2 assists. This year, he's averaging the same amount of rebounds and assists per game, but he's averaging 23 points per game, and the Hornets are winning. What? It's crazy what this Hornets team is doing, and it's all thanks to Kemba. He's the focal point of that offense. At number 20, Klay Thompson of the Golden State Warriors. Last year in 2016, he averaged 22.1 points per game, 2.1 assists, and 3.8 rebounds per game. This year with the acquisition of Durant, his numbers are down from last year so far, just like Steph Curry. That doesn't take away the fact that he's still a threat with the Warriors and probably one of the better defenders as well. Take him off the team and put him somewhere else, he could possibly be even higher than he is. At number 19, Karl-Anthony Towns, and I know what you're saying, last year was his rookie season, but even in his rookie season, he was averaging a double-double, 1.7 blocks and 2 assists. And so far this year, he's improved with 21.6 points per game. The blocks are 1.4, 2.9 assists, and 11.6 rebounds. This man could just be averaging double-doubles throughout an entire career. Karl-Anthony Towns is coming for that top 10 spot in a few years if he keeps this up, in my opinion. At number 18, Kyle Lowry, who last year put up 21.2 points per game, 2.1 steals, 6.4 assists, and 4.7 rebounds. That's pretty impressive, and I thought he fell off because he disappeared in the playoffs, and he tends to disappear, but this year he's being able to average 22.2 points per game, 1.4 steals, 7.1 assists, and 4.9 rebounds. He's only gotten better overall. At number 17, John Wall, who averaged a double-double in points and assists with 1.9 steals and almost 5 rebounds. This year he's only improved the double-double, having a career high with points, more assists, and on pace with the same amount of rebounds. As of right now, the only bright spot for the Washington Wizards, and let's hope he doesn't leave the next few years. At number 16, Paul George, who last year was able to come back from a gruesome leg injury by playing a full 81 games and averaging 23.1 points per game, 1.9 steals, 4.1 assists, and 7 rebounds. This year, his numbers aren't as good as they were last year, but he has a better team around him, a new coach, so it's understandable that his points are, like a point lower. Paul George, still a top 25 player, and it's good to see him being productive after the leg injury. At number 15, Giannis Antetokounmpo, who last year was able to average 16.9 points per game, 1.4 blocks, 4.3 assists, and 7.7 rebounds. It was his first year playing the point guard position, the point forward. This year, he's been doing a lot more of that, averaging 23.9 points per game, 2 blocks, 5.8 assists, and 9.1 rebounds, not to mention the amount of assists he's been able to double. The Bucks should be scary in a few years with Giannis leading the charge. At number 14, Kyrie Irving. I feel like this is a reasonable spot, considering he has LeBron James on his team, but last year in 2016 he was able to average 19.6 points per game, while this year he's being able to average 23.9 points per game, same amount of steals, same amount of rebounds, and a few more assists here and there. Man can flat out score. Obviously with the big shot over Steph Curry, and then on Christmas Day another big shot to win that game as well. He's climbing the ranks slowly but surely, and soon enough he'll be top 10 if he isn't already in some of your eyes. At number 13, Chris Paul, who last year was able to average 19.5 points per game, a double-double with assists. This year, his numbers are a little bit down. He's been injured. He has a better team than he did last year. The Clippers are looking to be a threat, but who knows if the Clippers will ever get out of the second round. This team goes as far as Chris Paul goes. If you take Chris Paul off the team, they're a lottery team, and they're not going anywhere. He's by far the most pure point guard on this list, who can create his own shot, dish it out, play defense. He's everything you wish in a point guard. If only he was just a little bit younger and on a good team. At number 12, Jimmy Butler averaged 20.9 points per game last season, around 5 assists and rebounds. This year, 25.2 points per game, and almost everything else went up as well. A real feel-good story who once came in the league, couldn't do anything, and now is a 3-and-D guy, and he's showing off his offensive skills this season. If only the Bulls could start winning. At number 11, DeMar DeRozan, arguably the best shooting guard in the league if you count the next guy a point guard or shooting guard. Last year averaged 23.5 points per game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, around there, and this year he's just lighting up in the scoring department. Can the Toronto Raptors make it to the NBA Finals? Who knows? They got the Cleveland Cavaliers to worry about. We're in the top 10 now, and that 10th man is Isaiah Thomas, who is having a career year. In scoring, last season he averaged 22.2 points per game, 6 assists, 3 rebounds, and this year 27.8 points per game, which is absolutely crazy coming from the 60th pick in the NBA draft a few years ago. I'm not gonna lie, I had my doubts if Isaiah Thomas was real or not, but he's proven it this year. At number 9, Damian Lillard, who averaged 25.1 points per game last year and almost 7 assists. This year, 26.8 points per game, and is most likely going to be an all-star snub if Zaza Pachulia gets in the all-star game before him. And according to George Karl, the reason why the Blazers suck so bad this year is because of Damian Lillard. I'm not sure how true is that statement, but Blazers need to start getting on a hot streak if they want to make the playoffs. At number 8, the unanimous MVP, Steph Curry, who last year averaged 30.1 points per game, 2.1 steals. He had a career high in steals and points. This year, obviously, with Kevin Durant, his numbers dropped drastically. If Kevin Durant wasn't on his team, and if he was just a little bit of a better defender, he would be probably in my top 5, but this season and last season combined, I just can't put him higher than 8. Still, you gotta put respect on Steph Curry's name for what he did last year. At number 7, Kevin Durant, who averaged 28.2 points per game, 5 assists, and 8.2 rebounds with the Oklahoma City Thunder, who possibly threw his legacy away this season by joining the Golden State Warriors and having a decrease in numbers. He wanted to win, and he thought the Warriors were his best opportunity to do so. I personally think it's like OKC, just with better shooters. At number 6, James Harden. Oh my god, James Harden is number 6. He's about to win the MVP. I mean, just look at his stats. 29 points last year, 7 assists last year, 6 rebounds, and just, oh my god, a career high in assists with 11.9. How is he not number 1? Well, if you go back to the, beginning of my video, I said, I look at stats, but that's not the only thing I look at. I look at if this player is an all-around player and the impact. So 2 out of 3 isn't that bad, but the 5 guys I have above him deserve that 5 in my opinion. So speaking of which, let's go on to that 5 being Kawhi Leonard, who had back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year awards the last 2 seasons and is looking for a 3-peat this year. He does a lot of little things that doesn't show up in the box score, and everything's went up so far except for rebounds because the Spurs, just a horrible rebounding team this season in my opinion. But Kawhi's the glue that makes him good. At number 4, LeBron James. I personally feel like LeBron is by far the most gifted athlete in the NBA, but we're going by the 3 stats I mentioned in the beginning, and LeBron James, he puts up numbers, he does everything. He's Mr. Reliable for the Cleveland Cavaliers, but he's not going to give you numbers like the next 3 guys are. At number 3, DeMarcus Cousins. Without DeMarcus on the Sacramento Kings, the Kings would be having the first overall draft pick, which they most desperately need considering they've been in this limbo 8th to 10th pick, having a terrible organization built around DeMarcus Cousins by drafting shooting guard after shooting guard and signing player after player and then just not keeping them. DeMarcus is having a career year with 28.6 points per game so far, almost averaging a double-double, which I'm sure by the end of the year he'll be doing that. Now, if only the Kings could actually make the playoffs this year, that'd be pretty exciting. At number 2, Anthony Davis, another big who's just on a miserable team that doesn't know how to build around him or is just filled with injuries. Averaged a double-double last season with 24.3 points and 10 rebounds, and this year, same thing. Up the rebounds though with 28.6 points and 12.1 rebounds. So Anthony Davis, he's arrived in the league and he's by far one of the better all-around players that can do almost everything. And at number 1, Russell Westbrook, who's Mr. Triple-Double. This season, at this moment, he is averaging a triple-double, which is absolutely insane. 31.4 points per game, 10.3 assists, 10.5 rebounds. We're witnessing history right here. This is absolutely crazy. If only his team could start winning a little bit more so he could actually win the MVP, because right now he's playing like it. With that said, that is my top 25 players in the NBA. Here's a look at all of the players on this list once again. Let me know in the comment section below, do you agree? Do you disagree with this list? And let me know your list as well. Who would you take out of this top 25 or who would you add to this top 25? I'd like to thank you guys for watching. If you could leave a like on this video and share it around, it would be greatly appreciated because this artwork does take a long time to make. Videos do take a long time to edit. It'd be great to spread the word if you feel like I deserve it. Also, check out some of my other videos. You might like the style there as well. I'll talk to you guys in the next one.